Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of LHI Productions. In today's episode, we're making a fork. Could use some salt. Alright, so what we have here is a piece of 1/2 inch round that is however long I felt like cutting it. I had no measurements at all, I just kind of cut it. I figured I could always cut some off. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the handle and getting this nice and drawn out because I really don't need this much material for the handle and such, but for the fork end I know I'm going to need more material because I already tried to make one out of 3/8 inch round. It was going really nice until I did not upset it enough and I realized I was not going to have near enough to make the fork. So what we're going to start doing now is we're going to work on the handle and then we'll move on to the fork, which I'm sure we'll have enough material for with this nice 1/2 inch round instead of the 3/8 inch round. Alright, so I think we have the handle end about where we want it. So for right now, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start working on the fork end and getting the forks shaped out to about where they need to be. The handle is pretty good for right now. With a little bit of filing, I should have it where I wanted. I cooled it off and felt it in my hand, and it felt pretty good. So for right now, what we're going to start doing, we're going to take it and we're going to start flattening that other end out, and then we'll see what we will do from there. I think I'm going to flatten it out, and then we'll see how much material we're going to need. We'll file in some shoulders, and then we'll start to work on the actual forks. Okay, so I've taken a fork out here and I've traced around it so I can find out the curvature and things that are in it to where, I mean, if you've ever had a fork bent flat and then tried to eat with it, it's very aggravating. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat this thing up and we're going to work it over the horn to try to make it match this curvature so that it won't be a pain to eat with. I'm not actually sure if I'll eat with it yet. It depends on how clean I can get it and how good looking. But I'll probably end up eating with it at least a little if you didn't already see me eat with it in the intro. But anyway, for right now we're going to try to get these curves right, and then we are going to move on to most of the handwork, which is going to be trying to get those forks right on the end and then working towards the back, making some chisel marks in it to make it look a little bit more decorative. I have a very heavy fork here, and by very heavy I mean heavy. I haven't weighed it yet. I'm going to try to do some filing on it. As you see, I've already done a tiny bit here, but the main things I have to do is I have to get a lot of these hammer marks here out. I have to make this end here, I have to make it flat, so this will be more like a rectangle. I'm going to put in some shoulders here. I kind of already started one there. Put in some shoulders, do a little bit of rounding on this back, and then it should be ready to go into the final stages of making these forks and then doing a little bit of decorative chisel work on the back. And then it should be finished up. So I took it off camera and I bent it up to where it is completely even and to where I'll be able to cut it straight and it'll look nice. Now, I was gonna do this by hand, but I came inside last night and I realized there is really no way time efficient at all that I could cut down this without using like a chisel, and that would bend them all wacky and I'd have to do a ton of filing. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice the by hand method, and I'm going to use the belt sander to finish up the sanding, and then we're going to take the angle grinder and we are going to cut the slots down into here so that we can then begin to work on rounding and kind of getting a little bit sharper the forks on the end. Okay, so what I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to start hand sanding these. We're going to start making them look just a little bit more like a fork, and then we will continue on with the sanding of the other parts and then the decorative chisel work in the back. So after some pain and finally caving and going over to the belt sander to finish this thing up, I was so afraid that I might cut this cut here deeper than it already is with the belt sander and just completely mess the project up. I might get them a little bit thinner, I'm not sure, but for right now we're going to bring the rest of this handle up to a 2000 grit polish, and then we are going to put in the chisel, put in the decorative chisel stuff, and then we will move on into it if I want to do anything else about these. Okay, so I think that's about as good as it's going to get. I haven't done too much chisel work so far, but I think that's a good start. The forks, I think I'm going to try to thin those up just a little bit and rebend this one out since it's so thin. Heat that up and bend it out. And then we will be finished up. I think I will repolish it, and then it should be completely finished. Well, I just broke a 2000 grit belt in my face. So in all, I think it turned out pretty good. Definitely could have been better. It was the first one I'd ever made. It could have been way better, but I think it turned out okay. I think it will work. I'm about to go test it because we're about to have supper. But anyway, I got it all up to a 2000 grit polish. Put this little kind of leaf thing in the back here. Levi brought up to me that I should have made the back a leaf, and I really should have, but I didn't. So I made it an oval shape. The only flaw besides the prongs just not looking that great is the fact that it weighs about a pound. It's super heavy. You get a workout just from using it. But anyway, guys, I think that is all for today. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you're seeing, and I'll see you in the next one.